Fifth grade, Friday, January 15th. Here we are. So we have been talking about 13 colonies. We started our project yesterday on Thursday. However, today, I actually want to pause for a second. Okay. Not that 13 colonies are not important, and not that we are going to continue to talk about that for a couple weeks now. We will. We'll actually talk about the 13 colonies, honestly, up until the end of the year. But I wanted to pause today. I wanted to talk about something that's happening in the news, something you may have heard about, something that is very important, but we just don't have the time to talk about it during our Google Meets, okay, during our class time. So we talked about how last Wednesday something very scary happened. Some people stormed into the Capitol, and they were upset that Joe Biden had won. They thought that that was not fair, that there was cheating, all these things. Okay, a lot of people believe that the reason that they did this, and never forget, 5 people died in the storming of the Capitol. A lot of people believe that Donald Trump was the reason why they did this. They blame him. And so because of that, they have decided to impeach Donald Trump. Okay? So today what I want to talk about is I want to talk about something that's very important to social studies, something that is important to history, but also important to how our government in the United States works. Okay? So I want to talk about impeachment and how that works, and then also what you can expect for this impeachment of Donald Trump. Okay? So, in these rectangle boxes, you will be just copying down what I say, and we will be taking some notes together. Okay, but I do just want to see here, if I look up impeachment, you can see it's everywhere. Look at all of this news. YouTube, everywhere, news, a bunch of stuff, looking up, things from the past. Look at all these news things, these top stories about impeachment. All right, tons of stuff. Okay, so it's very important right now, and I just wanted to talk about it today because it's important, all right, and it's happening in our world right now. So here is the first thing that we're going to talk about, okay? So impeachment is one part of a little formula that needs to happen for somebody to get removed from their job, okay? So in this rectangle here, you're going to say their job. Okay, so what needs to happen here is somebody needs to be impeached, like Donald Trump has been impeached. And then the next thing that needs to happen is somebody needs to be convicted. If these two things happen, then this person will be removed from their job. And in this case, we're talking about the president being removed from his job. Okay, so impeachment just by itself does not remove a person from their job. Okay, so since Donald Trump has been impeached, that does not mean that he has been kicked out from being the president. Okay, so what happens is the House of Representatives, and we'll talk about them more at the end of the year. We'll talk more about their history and how they were created. What needs to happen is they need to first vote to impeach the person. Okay, it's just like they just did. They voted to impeach Donald Trump. They decided to say that he did something wrong. Then what needs to happen is the Senate, which is another very important group of people that work in the Capitol. That was also, they were part of the group that was very scared for their lives last Wednesday. They're going to conduct a trial to see if it is true he should be kicked out of his job. Okay, if the Senate votes to convict and remove this person, they will be removed from their job. Okay, so far what has happened is the House of Representatives, they got together, they decided they wanted to impeach Donald Trump. That has happened. So Donald Trump right now is impeached. Okay, so if the Senate now decides that they want to remove that person, then they have that right. They can say that they want to get rid of Donald Trump as the president. Okay, now it can happen for a lot of different people. But of course, in our country, we think of the most important and powerful person in our country is the president. So that is the most important one. All right. We'll talk about later down in the slides how rare it is for a president to be impeached. Okay. So now just to kind of talk really quick about the two differences between impeachment and conviction. Okay. So first, impeachment. This is what Donald Trump right now has. What has happened is that these people in the House of Representatives had said Donald Trump has formally been charged with a crime. That is so teeny tiny. Let's make that bigger there. All right, so the House of Representatives have decided Donald Trump has committed a crime. Okay, now what's going to happen is the Senate is going to vote to see if they agree with that. Okay, if they do, they will convict him, and that means that someone is guilty of that crime. All right, being guilty means that not only has someone come forward and said that you committed a crime, but we have proven that you did do that crime, and now you are in trouble. Okay, so these are the two things that it takes to get a person kicked out from being president. All right, one of them has already happened. The second one here, we'll just have to see what happens. All right, the second thing has not happened yet. The Senate has not, they have not met yet. They're back at their houses. They're relaxing. They're taking a little break. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the rule of law, so laws in our country. Here's what is just important about this slide here. Government officials and representatives, which means that people that we vote for to be in the government, they have to follow all laws, just like citizens do. We are citizens. Okay, citizens are people that are just living in the world, working, going to school, going to their jobs. Okay, people that we vote for, they also have to follow the rule. Okay, impeachment is a reminder that no one, no matter their job, is above the law. Okay, that includes the President of the United States. If you're the president and you break the law, you will be in trouble. Doesn't matter who you are. Okay, that's how our country works. So, that's this slide here, just talking about the law, why that's so important. What's the difference? Okay, so here's the thing. With like getting in trouble and getting like arrested for, speeding in your car, it's very different than this, being impeached. Okay, so first, when you're impeached, there are no police involved. Okay, no police are involved, no detectives, no FBI, CIA, any of those big police groups, they're not involved at all. Okay, the people that are part of the Capitol, they do their own investigation. They have their own people that go and see if this person did commit a crime. All right, so no police in an impeachment, which seems kind of strange. If the president did something wrong, you'd want the police involved. However, in an impeachment, no police. Okay, and while the Senate trial involves a real judge, okay, so there's a judge that sits there and makes sure that everything is going well, the judge actually can't say anything. Okay, so what happens when it's all done? The judge, their opinion doesn't matter. What happens all depends on how these people vote, how the Senate votes. If they decide on their own that the president should be removed, should be kicked out of their job, then that's what's going to happen. It doesn't matter what the judge says. Even though there's a judge sitting there, they have no say, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of goofy. But when there's a judge there, they're just there to make sure everything is happening fairly and that nobody's doing anything kind of sketchy or weird. Okay, so even in an impeachment, a judge is there, but they can't say anything. They don't do anything. All that matters is the votes of the people in the Senate. Okay, so next one here. If the official is convicted, so like the president, if the Senate has voted and said Donald Trump is convicted, we decided that he did commit a crime, then removal from his office is the punishment. Okay? So what happens is, if the Senate says in the next coming weeks that Donald Trump did commit a crime, then he is kicked out of being president. Okay? Now, an important thing is that the Senate, these people that voted, they can't send him to prison. Okay? But what they can do is they can vote to disqualify him from ever being president again. All right? So even if he wanted to run for president again, the Senate has the power to decide that he can't do that again. That's a very big power to have. To decide that a human being can't run for president. All right? It's crazy to think about. All of us, we can be presidents someday. Honestly, we can. There are some things that we have to make sure that we do. Like I think 35 is the youngest you can be. It's a lot of things like that, but anybody can be president. But the Senate can decide someone cannot be president. That's a big power to have. Okay? So, what's the big deal? Who cares? Impeachment. It sounds kind of like the word peach. What are we talking about? Fruit? Right? So, impeachment actually is a very big deal. All right? And it's such a big deal that it happens very rarely. Okay? We'll talk about in the next slide how rare it is. But what you need to know on this slide is that no president has ever in the history of our country been removed from being president. No president, out of the 46 presidents now, Joe Biden will be the 46th president. Nobody has ever been kicked out of the presidency. Okay? That's how rare impeachment is. Nobody's ever been kicked out. Okay? However, in our country, there have been 4 impeachments. Okay, 3 presidents have been impeached 4 times. So the first one is Andrew Johnson. His is kind of a strange case. He was the president after Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, after he was killed. Andrew Johnson became the president. He was the vice president at the time. They impeached him because he tried to fire somebody he wasn't supposed to, which isn't a huge deal. Yes, it's important, but not a huge deal. Bill Clinton, who was the president, he was impeached in 1998. Mr. Lund was 4 years old, so it was a bit ago. Not super long time ago, but a bit ago. He was impeached because they were saying that he lied in court, which is a huge deal. When you go to court, you can't lie. And if somebody proves that you lied, you can be in big trouble. Okay? He actually was not convicted by the Senate, so he was not kicked out of office. He was not kicked out from being the president. Okay? And now that brings us to Donald Trump. He now has been impeached 2 times. Okay? That's why we have 3 presidents, but 4 impeachments. So right now, Donald Trump has been impeached half of the amount of times that all of our presidents have been impeached, which is kind of weird to think about. The first time, something was happening with another government in a different country, and the Senate did not convict, so he was not kicked out of office. Now this time that we're talking about the deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol that happened last Wednesday. Okay? The Senate has not met yet to decide if he should get kicked out of being president. Okay? So those are the impeachments in our history. It is a very big deal. Like I said, we've had 46 presidents in our history. Joe Biden will be number 46. We've only had 4 impeachments ever in our country's history. So that's very rare. Okay? Now, by the time that the Senate meets and votes to decide if Donald Trump should be kicked out of office, he won't even be president anymore. Because next Wednesday, January 20th, he will actually be gone. Joe Biden will be the next president on January 20th. And so what a lot of people are hoping is that the Senate decides that Donald Trump can't run for president anymore. All right, so we'll see what happens. I'll give you an update next week to see how things are going, but that's kind of where things stand right now. Okay, this last slide here, I want you to just tell me, what do you think or feel about our president right now being impeached for the 2nd time? It's the first president ever to be impeached twice. Tell me how you think or feel. Remember, Any questions, please let me know.